Rankings are something that we as players, fans, and coaches really obsess over and pay attention to. And just recently, there has been a point guard that has been named as the highest rated point guard of all time. 5 stars, 4 stars, 3 stars, 2 stars, or even just 1 star. It is something that players and coaches and even fans are told not to pay attention to or even look at. Even though rankings do not mean everything, it's something that we still pay attention to. And one of the most known recruiting and ranking websites is 24/7 Sports. They rank players from top to bottom, give them stars, and also give players a composite rating. A composite rating is basically like 95, 0.96, 0.9757, and numbers like that. They came out with new rankings, and there is a point guard who is rated the highest point guard recruit in 24/7 Sports history. And no, this isn't just for the year, this is all time. He isn't just ranked that, he's also referred to as the greatest point guard prospect we've ever seen. This player is known as no other than Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham is a point guard for Montverde Academy in Florida, but he started his career out in Texas playing for Bowie High School. Cunningham has a composite grade of 0.9999, and like I told you, he's the highest rated point guard of all time. And when you hear that, you immediately start to think about who is he ahead of, and well, it's some very high names. Cade Cunningham is currently above Brandon Jennings, Sean Livingston, Austin Rivers, Emmanuel Mudiay, John Wall, OJ Mayo, Kyrie Irving, Drew Holiday, and Josh Shelby. Those are some pretty big names to be ahead of. And those rankings are based on what they were coming out of high school, not where they are now. And a lot of these players and most of these players have been pretty successful. I really don't have to say too much about the players on this list because they have their own story and there's not too much to say. You know, these guys can hoop. This video is simply to explain who is this guy and how is he ahead of all of these guys. Cade Cunningham actually grew up playing football. And this actually makes sense because his father played football as well. He grew up admiring Tony Romo, which makes complete sense because they were both playing in Texas at the time. As he started getting older though, his passion for football gradually went away and went to basketball. I didn't have as strong of a passion for football as my father did, he says. Basketball brings an adrenaline rush that I didn't get when I was playing football or anything else. I don't know where I'd be without basketball. This guy is the perfect fit for the modern day basketball because he is huge. As he was growing up, he was listed as a small forward, but he eventually made the full transition to point guard. This happened around his sophomore year, and for his size, if you were wondering, he's 6'7" and 230 pounds. And remember, this guy is a point guard. What separates this guy and makes him the best recruit of all time is that he offers a rare combination of passing, handling, and the power to finish through contact. His game has often been compared to Luka Doncic, however, he might be a little better. And all of this isn't just coming from me. Listen to what a sports recruiter said. I haven't scouted many prospects as polished, mature, and talented as Cade Cunningham. He has that powerful, functional athleticism. It's not going to win you a dunk contest, but it's going to get you an and one. This guy was a star at Bowie High School in Arlington, Texas from the moment he took the court. As just a freshman, he averaged 15 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists each and every night as a freshman on varsity. And one thing about this guy is that he's believed he was the best player in his class from the jump. He didn't start in as a point guard though. His older brother actually transitioned him over and told him, if you can turn into a point guard, just think about how much longer you'll be able to play. By just his sophomore year, he rose into the national top 25 rankings. After his sophomore year and heading into his junior year, that was a big summer for him. He used the entire EYBL league to develop himself as a point guard. And after this, the next step for him was to leave Texas and transfer to a Florida prep school known as no other than Montverde Academy. As soon as he got there, he noticed there was a big difference from prep schools and normal schools. And about that, he went on to say this in an interview. Even our light shoot-arounds always turn to a scrimmage. and now it's like a super competitive scrimmage and it's like another game. There are not a lot of easy buckets going around. You don't get any time to relax. It's always let's get better. And I know you guys are probably wondering, yo, how does this guy do under pressure? Well, just listen to this. The first real example and hint that showed he would be a superstar was when they faced off against the powerhouse Oak Hill Academy. And this is when he matched up against the top-ranked senior point guard in the country, Cole Anthony. Cunningham wound up finishing this game with 26 points, 9 assists, and 7 rebounds in a blowout victory. A recruiter at the game said this: Cade was the best player on the floor in a game full of future pros. We knew how good he was before that game. I think that's when the rest of the world started to figure it out. And the whole world definitely took notice because that one game took Cunningham into the top 10 ranking by just his junior year. Then his spring and summer on the EYBL circuit boosted him into an even greater ranking. Cunningham averaged 12 points per game for Montverde during this year, but don't let that number fool you because they was full of a lot of people that could score. And he's a true point guard and he likes to pass, and one of his teammates said this: everyone knows he's unselfish. We heard people say he passes too much. The last check mark on the list was him scoring. And going into the EYBL season, Cunningham definitely heard the critics and he answered the bell. He could attack the rim at ease and improved his 3-point jump shot even more than what it was. And at the end of the EYBL league, he ended the year with some of the best numbers in the history of the league. Just listen to these stats. He averaged 25.1 points per game, 6.5 rebounds, over 5 assists, 1.5 steals, and 1.5 blocks per game. This is against the best of the best competition. Just let that sink in. I don't have to say too much more about these numbers because they speak for themselves. And about this huge summer for Cunningham, he said this: confidence was the biggest thing. Montverde is as close as you get to college at the high school level. Going from that to AAU, it's a little more free and faster paced game. My confidence carried over, and that's when you started to see the 25-point games. And after this summer, Cunningham announced that he would be attending Oklahoma State. This really came as a shock to nobody because this is close to where he grew up. And this kid, he's definitely motivated and he's going to meet the expectations. In an interview, he said this: I want to be a Hall of Fame player, MVP, national champion, but I want to be remembered more for what I've done off the court with the money I make, with my social status, and how I help people. If I can use that stage to impact other people's lives, that's all I can ask for. And let me tell you guys, that is just very, and I mean very mature words for just a kid to say. Sometimes we forget that these guys, they're still kids and they're just leaving high school. And with this guy being a 6'7" beast and weighing over 200 pounds, I don't even know if he's reached his full potential yet, and that's really, and I mean really, scary. Cade Cunningham is regarded and ranked as the highest point guard recruit of all time. But will he fold under the pressure and not meet the high expectations? Or will he prove everyone right? But hey man, with all this being said, that's about gonna wrap up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned something. If you are new to the channel, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button and leave a like for more. And as always, let's be great. I'm out, y'all. Peace.